Hi dear friends and subscribers, welcome to the Cricket Happening Show with your host Ram today. And in this part of the Cricket Happening Show, we are going to look at a knock that Glenn Maxwell played of Australia A. In fact, as you know, India A, Australia A and South Africa A are contesting in a tri-series here in Australia. And what a match. It was Glenn Maxwell who dominated proceedings. But what was good about that was he was on 38 runs of just 40 deliveries, and after that he slammed 107 of the last 39 deliveries to take Australia onto a winning score of 298 for 8 wickets, and Australia A won that match by 7 runs. In fact, Australia were the ones who actually batted first, and they scored 298 for 8 of 50 overs. Thanks. At one time, it looked pretty impossible because Australians were really struggling in the 37th over with the score on 152 for 8, and only the company that he had was of Cummins and Hazelwood. Cummins also couldn't contribute much, but Hazelwood gave him good company, and Maxwell went on his merry way. And what a knock it was. Let me tell you, Glenn Maxwell is a pretty dangerous player. Today he showed us why by cracking an unbeaten 145 of just 79 deliveries, 18 fours and 6 sixes in that particular knock. And finally, even though India really made a good try, in the sense they put up a good fight to take the score on to 291 for 8, and finally finishing just 7 runs short, but a good fight back by India, with Rohit Sharma contributing 66 of 87 balls with 7 fours, and other contributions, prime contributors being Suresh Raina with 83 of 79 dealt with 7 fours and 1 6. Ambati Rayudu contributing 70 of 56 balls, 5 fours and 2 sixes, staying till the end. Ambati Rayudu almost, but he really couldn't go the full distance there. Probably Ambati Rayudu would have, things could have been probably different. The script could have been a bit different with those 7 runs separating India and Australia A. But what a match. But one thing that I would like to talk about, let's look at the bowling figures, and let's look at what was the damage that Glenn Maxwell, the Australia A batsman, did to the Indian bowlers. Mohammad Shami 8 overs 2 for 51. Unadkat was taken for runs, 10 overs 1 for 66. Call's 8 overs went for 62 runs. Stuart Binney is the only bowling analysis that looks like one can really talk about. 4 overs no maiden, none for 19. Nadeem had 2 for 42, the left-arm spinner. Suresh Raina 1 for 12, 7 overs 2 for 39. But Unadkat, the left-arm seamer, was the one who really suffered under the blade of Glenn Maxwell, going for plenty. And Glenn Maxwell, what a knock from him, an unbeaten 145 of just 79 balls, 18 fours and 6 sixes. Surely the Australian selectors would be taking notice of that. What a knock it was. Other than that, for Australia A, the contributions coming in from Doolan, who is a very talented batsman. He made 30 of 58 balls with 2 fours, and then 52 from Nick Maddinson, who is also a powerful hitter of the ball. 52 of 56 balls with 4 fours and 3 sixes, and then it was all Glenn Maxwell. You can just imagine 152 for 8 in the 37th over, with Glenn Maxwell having the company of only the genuine tailenders, and this is what Glenn Maxwell did to the India A bowlers, and finally that turned out to be a very big score and a winning score at that. So a wonderful knock from Glenn Maxwell, thorough entertainment for all the spectators here at the De Villiers Oval in Pretoria. I'm sorry, I said that these played in Australia. I'm extremely sorry about that. This tri-series is being played in South Africa. My apologies there. India A 291. Shikhar Dhawan was out for 15. Pujara could make only 29 of 33 balls with 3 fours. Dinesh Karthik failed to the bat. He made only 10 of 14 balls. Looking at the bowling figures, Cummins 9 overs went for 53. Hazelwood 9 overs 2 for 60. Pretty surprising, but Josh Hazelwood is normally on the money. Keeps the ball up to the batsman, not allowing pretty few scoring strokes. It was a bit of a surprise to see Hazelwood go for runs. Coulter 10 overs 1 minute 3 for 31. By far the best bowler on either side, I would say. 10 overs 1 minute 37 runs with 3 wickets. Is an all-rounder. Nathan Coulter, he bowls left arm. Glenn Maxwell 5 overs 1 for 29. With the ball he couldn't do much. Enriquez 1 for 53 and none for 53. And Fawad Ahmed, the right arm leg spinner, was also seen in action. He's such a talented bloke there, Fawad Ahmed. 9 overs got taken for 55 runs with 1 wicket in his name. Well, but as I said, one has to really commend the effort of Glenn Maxwell. It's not so easy from 38 or 40 balls, and then he races to 107. He takes 107 runs of the India A bowlers to slam 145. So essentially 107 coming of just 39 balls. Absolutely blitzkrieg batting from Glenn Maxwell, and what a knock it was. Well, so now we turn the attention now to the Caribbean Premier League. Now, Caribbean Premier League yesterday had a match which was played at the Queen's Park Oval in Port of Spain, and this was played between the Jamaica Talawas and Trinidad Tobago. Now, as you know, the Trinidad Tobago has not been having a very good tournament. They still don't have a single victory under the belt. As you know, the coach of Trinidad and Tobago, in my reckoning, I'm not so sure about it whether it is Gordon Greenwich, but probably Jamaica is being led by Gordon Greenwich probably. Well, but Trinidad and Tobago mustered only 141. In fact, they lost the match. It was a close match, and Jamaica Talawas winning the match by 5 runs. As you know, Trinidad and Tobago is led by the now West Indies captain Dwayne Bravo, and they have been pretty struggling as far as this tournament is concerned. They have not had a single victory under the belt, and today Jamaica Talawas won the match by 5 runs. As far as Jamaica Talawas were concerned, they made 146 for 6 of their 20 overs. The feature being the batting of Danza Hayat and Vernon Philander, who really put this Trinidad and Tobago red bowlers absolutely to the sword by slamming all the bowlers to all sorts of parts of the ground by picking up pretty quick runs, because if you look at it, they were 105 for 6 in the 18th over when Carlton Bogg was out, and after that, so basically they had only 14 balls, and in 14 balls, look at what they did. They almost slammed 42 runs of the 14 balls left, with the Danza Hayat collecting an unbeaten 42 of just 26 deliveries, 2 fours and 3 sixes. Other than that, it was Vernon Philander also showing that he can do with the bat too, with an unbeaten 23 of just 8 deliveries, 1 4 and 2 sixes. The other contributors being Chris Gale, the captain of the Jamaica Talawas, with 28 of 29 balls with 3 fours and 1 6, and Ahmed Shahzad making 20 of 17 balls with 3 fours, and they were the ones who put up a good partnership. They put up 44 for the first wicket. And after that, it was left to Danza Hayat and Vernon Philander to really slam the Trinidad and Tobago's red steel bowling and take the score on to a winning score of 146 for 6. As far as Trinidad and Tobago is concerned, well, they lost the Ireland batsman Kevin O'Brien pretty early to Adrian Barato, of whom not much has been heard. I mean, he contributed 32 of 36 balls with 3 fours, 31 coming from Ross Taylor of 28 balls with 2 fours and 2 sixes. Dwayne Bravo himself scoring 29 of 24 balls with 3 fours. And Nicholas Pooran. Now, I'm going to talk about Nicholas Pooran. Nicholas Pooran is a very interesting prospect. He's a very exciting prospect, likes to hit the leather of the ball. And what is very unique about Nicholas Pooran, I think he would be the first batsman, but this is something which is coming from Dwayne Bravo, the West Indies captain, because he has pretty much said that even though Trinidad and Tobago has been losing a lot of matches, Nicholas Pooran has been showing his pyrotechnics to full effect, and I'm sure the full house at this Queen's Park Oval would have got their value for money, because Nicholas Pooran is such a batsman. We saw the other day in a particular game, he slammed a lot of runs and he hit 6 sixes in that particular match, even though they lost. Every time Trinidad and Tobago has been losing, but Nicholas Pooran has been doing his job as far as hitting the leather of the ball is concerned, and he looks to be a pretty big hitter. And what is good is that he's an youngster, and Dwayne Bravo has already said, the captain has already said, that Nicholas Pooran has to be groomed into another Kieron Pollard. He sees a real Kieron Pollard in Nicholas Pooran. That's absolute good news for the West Indians. And Nicholas Pooran, the other unique feature that hitherto has never been done in cricket, according to me, is that Nicholas Pooran can play both sides. I mean, he can bat left-handed as good as he bats right-handed. Now, that is not something that has come out into the open, but Dwayne Bravo, the West Indian captain, has said after the post-match press conference, I mean, he said that one would be seeing in the Caribbean Premier League something unique happening, where Nicholas Pooran would probably bat left-handed and also bat right-handed. In the sense, probably in one innings he'll bat left-handed, and in another innings he might bat right-handed. So that is something pretty unique as far as cricket, international cricket, is concerned. And one is really looking forward to Nicholas Pooran doing it, so that the crowd can see what Nicholas Pooran is capable. Well, he has already done what he wanted with the bat as far as his innings are concerned. The Caribbean Premier League, he's been a real star attraction, even though Trinidad and Tobago, the Red Steels, have been losing a lot of matches. They don't even have a single victory under the belt. And for Nicholas Pooran's sake, I hope that Trinidad and Tobago get on to at least a first win. Today he scored an unbeaten 20 runs of 15 balls with 2 fours and 1 6. So that is the match standing as far as Trinidad and Tobago and Red Steel innings are concerned, where Jamaica Talabas won the match by 5 runs and Danza Hyatt of Jamaica Talabas was declared man of the match. Now I'm going to shift the attention now to the Ashes Test Series. Now tomorrow is the 4th Test match which is going to start, and this is going to be started at Chesterley Street in Durham. Now that's a pitch that not much anybody knows of, and well, I'm just going to look at it and see what Australia and England are going to do. Now Australia, as you know, they would have been pretty confident that they have already stopped England in their stride. At least England can't do a clean sweep now. So that is something which has been would have been well taken by the Australians. And now Australia, I think they are going on with a lot of confidence. David Warner, who would be probably opening the innings, has to really strike. When he'd made 41, but what one is looking at is a big knock from David Warner. Usman Khawaja got the limited opportunities, and he was a victim of a very, very horrendous decision making by the UDRS, the Umpire Decision Review System. Now Usman Khawaja, one hopes that he's a very talented player from Australia, and hope that things get going for him in this 4th Test match. Michael Clarke, well, he played that monumental innings to lead the way for Australia, and then we have Shane Watson. Shane Watson is going to come number 5. Stephen Smith has now, one thing that he has proved is that to the Australians that he's a person who is to be looked at, because he can bat well, and he really showed it with that knock of 80. And the other thing, Brad Haddin, the wicketkeeper, he has been doing a good job so far as the Ashes Test Series is concerned. And the bowling, well, Peter Siddle has been bowling with lots of fire, and he has been absolutely fire and brimstone. He has been getting the ball to bounce, he's been getting the ball to swing. Ryan Harris has been the wicket taker, but injury has been a big problem for him. So Ryan Harris always, fitness has been a pretty thing which has been dogging him a lot, and Ryan Harris definitely needs to get over that if he needs to really be a permanent member of this Australian Test side, and that's pretty important because he's a wonderful bowler, and he has showed us why with his good bowling in this in the particular Test match. Nathan Lyon, well, he got an opportunity, and probably whether they're going to persist with him or whether Nathan Lyon will allow someone, because you know Jackson Bird is a contender now. Probably he might come in the place of Mitchell Starc, and Jackson Bird is also has been done very well in all those tour matches that has been played, and he's a pretty nippy bowler, and he can be, I mean, you look innocuous, but let me tell you, he really has the capability to take wickets. Nathan Lyon, well, he got an opportunity, he bowled well, he had to toil hard, he got only 1 wicket to his name, but he's a wonderful bowler. And then as far as England are concerned, for England, Alistair Cook, I know the England batting really didn't come to the fore as far as the last Test match was concerned, but that is not something that England will be happy about, because that was a perfect batting pitch, and England couldn't capitalize there. So Alistair Cook, Joe Root, Jonathan Trott, it's high time that he puts a good score on the board now. And Kevin Peterson was the one who was in prolific form, and he played a magnificent knock there. He played a very good knock, becoming the prolific run scorer in English cricket history. Ian Bell also did his bit. He has been doing his bit as far as the Ashes Test Series is concerned. Johnny Barstow has also done his bit there. Matt Pryor also doing what he can best. And then the bowling. The bowling has been looking pretty sharp. It was led by, as you know, Stuart Broad, James Harrison always leading the pack there, along with Stuart Broad and Graham Swan and Tim Bresnan. So they always have been a pretty reliable group, and I'm sure they would like to really right the wrongs that they did in the previous match against Australia and put it up. So for Australia, well, they have 2 more matches to go, and their goal would be to square the series and pick up 2 wins, which is not going to be easy. But England, well, they would probably rue the fact that they didn't really get the third match, they couldn't get the third victory, and probably they could be eyeing a clean sweep. But now that's all gone. It's all left to the next two matches to come, and I'm sure England will be probably hoping to see whether they can get two victories under the belt. So it's going to be an even contest tomorrow at the Chesterley Straight in Durham, and we are looking forward to that. Well, dear fans, friends and subscribers, it has been a pleasure describing you the happenings as far as cricket is concerned on this Cricket Happening Show. Your host Ram will see you tomorrow. Thank you.